Hey, and welcome everybody. This is Sherman Ray. This is the Livin in Vegas podcast, where we come to you Monday, Wednesdays, and now Rebel Friday to talk to you about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. And welcome, folks. Once again, this is Rebel Red Friday, where we don our Rebel Red, the scarlet and red, scarlet and gray of the UNLV Running Rebels, just to talk and to show appreciation for our team. We love the UNLV Running Rebels, folks. So on this day, I even brought up my patch, folks. Now this patch, I'll tell you about it in a little bit, but it's a vintage patch, vintage. So I'll tell you about that in just a little bit. For those of you, this might be your first time checking out the show. I'm Sherman Ray. I'm the publisher of Livin in Vegas magazine. Comes out quarterly. And we're going to see if we can get back to Livin Weekly magazine too, because it was a lot of people really enjoyed that, and we just need more help. That's all. We need more writers. If you're a writer, definitely contact us at info@livininvegas.com. That's info@livininvegas.com. Love to bring you on staff with us. And as a matter of fact, I just received a letter from some organization. I forgot what it was, to tell you the truth. But they put us up for an award because we write about Vegas, and we've been doing it we for a solid year. That's all we did, just serious Vegas, and so that's what we do. As a matter of fact, the Livin in Vegas podcast is the longest running podcast about the city of Las Vegas. So I'm very excited about that. And you get to watch it, folks, here on YouTube and Facebook and all the other places where it's at. We have our podcast download on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google and all of this stuff, so you can actually check that all out, folks. I want to welcome all our friends over at YouTube, and we really encourage you, folks. I've got the little thing right here. It's right there. And just kind of smash that little YouTube channel icon there to subscribe to our channel. We'd love to have you there. If you notice, we put in front of you here the UNLV. We're actually going to start doing this a little bit more. The UNLV colors, and we'll of course always have our Livin in Vegas logo up in the corner here, so you know what you're watching. So very excited about that. I guess I probably should get myself centered in the street. There's yeah, there we go. So, got a lot of stuff to talk about today. It's Friday, and we're going to start out today strong. We're going to start out strong with UNLV. I loved UNLV. Matter of fact, the Lady Rebels, so cool. The Lady Rebels started their conference play 5-0 for the first time in 29 years. Man, is that great? So this is out of San Jose, California. The Lady Rebels get to chalk a new accomplishment on the board. UNLV started the Mountain West play 5-0 for the first time, as we said, in its history, after an 84-58 trouncing over San Jose State Wednesday night. Pretty cool. On the scoreboard, Essence Booker, 5'8" guard, did some fantastic things with 22 points. Man, who else scored? Essence, you're doing the hotness now. I mean, you're just doing it right now. Desiree Young, no relations to me, and she put in 15. And then the Alyssas, okay, Alyssa Fresca and Alyssa Brown, each put in 14 and 11 points respectively. So did a great job. I'll tell you, these girls are just lighting it on fire. And the guys, the guys fell to Boise State in a drubbing, 84-66 on Wednesday night over Thomas and Mack. And we dropped our record too. I think we're at 4. We're down. I think we're at 4 losses now. We're at 4 losses. We're at 12-4, and we're 1-3 in the Mountain West. So it looked like we were going to actually do pretty good in the Mountain West, and now our overall score is great, but we wanted to do good in the Mountain West too. We got to win our division. Just got to win your division, and so doesn't look like we're doing really well in our division, but we hope that it will go. We're going to talk a little bit more about UNLV, but we're going to take a real quick break, folks. I got to drink a little bit of coffee, and I'll tell you something that happened to me over the last couple of days. which I know a lot of people have been suffering from this too. So we'll talk about that more as we come back with the Livin in Vegas podcast with your host here, Sherman Ray. We'll be back in just a minute. Hi, everybody. It's Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast. Are you a business owner that's looking to get the word out about his product, service, or even just a great message out there? Well, we'd like to give you that opportunity by being a guest on Livin in Vegas podcast. It's super simple. All you've got to do is contact us at advertising@livininvegas.com. That's advertising@livininvegas.com, and we'll schedule you for an interview on Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Yeah, so what is Godstream? Yeah, Godstream, if I can describe it this way. Have you ever gone out looking for, maybe Joyce Myers or TD Jakes? And you got to search for them all over the place. I want one place where you can find everything. That's right. And yeah, so that's why I decided, you know what, I'm going to put together a website where everybody is there. So if I'm looking for music by Bethel Music, or if I'm looking for a preaching sermon by Jonathan Cahn or something like that, I can find it all in one place. That's what Godstream's all about. All right, and we're back, folks. This is Sherman Ray. This is the Livin in Vegas podcast. That last little clip that you saw was actually a new channel that we've got started, and it's called Godstream. So if you go to godstream.org, you can check it all out. It's very cool. It's all Christian programming, and because a lot of times what happens, folks, is if you're like me and you're looking for all of these different things, about one subject, you can't find them. I mean, you've got to look all over the place for them. And so what we decided to do is put them all in one place. It's called Godstream. That's G-O-D, stream. Godstream, and we brought all the greatest minds in one place. So Joyce Myers, T.D. Jakes, Stephen Furtick, that kind of stuff, plus music, teachings, all that kind of stuff. So go to godstream.org and you can check it all out. And let's continue to talk about UNLV, because this is UNLV. This is Runnin' Rebel Friday. I know a lot of you are wondering why we've got all this other stuff on here. So let me tell you a little bit about the patch. So many of you can see the patch right here. It's really right there. I'm gonna turn it here because it's actually kind of crooked. I know. Actually, I pasted it on because I don't want to put a hole in this. That's why. Some of you all understand this. This is a vintage UNLV Running Rebel patch. I'm going to take it off for just a second so you can see it. So you can actually see this. So this is a Running Rebel. This is actually a UNLV Running Rebel patch. This is one of the original designs that they had. Yeah, I know. Is that cool? And you can see the guy with the musket and everything else. So I'll tell you the story behind this too. So I'm going to put it back on here first. So the guy who designed this, his name is oh gosh. No, I can't remember the name. Oh my gosh. Dirk Ravenholt. I'm so sorry. Dirk, forgive me. So I don't say your name enough. Dirk Ravenholt. So Dirk Ravenholt used to be one of the student body officials for UNLV. And he came up with excuse me. He came up with like the radio station that's at UNLV right now. He's the one who started that radio station many years. It's 40 years now. Over 40 years, a little over 40 years ago. So he actually started the radio station. Well, at one point, up until then, UNLV did not have a mascot. I mean, it was the UNLV, it was UNLV, the University of Nevada at Las Vegas. And so they were coming up with a mascot for the university. And Dirk said, he contacted one of the art students. And he goes, hey, can you draw this thing for me? and um, so a UNLV student drew him, a mascot that he thought could be cool. Well, he actually reached out to Disney also because he thought, hey, Yosemite Sam would be a very cool mascot. But Disney said, no, you cannot use Yosemite Sam. It's just not going to happen. And so um, so he had a UNLV student draw out this musket guy as, kind of guy out on the prairie, that kind of stuff. And that's how we came up with that design. And I know a lot of people think, oh, it's this racist thing, but I know Dirk. He's not a racist guy at all. And I went to UNLV, and I'll tell you, if there was anything racist, I would probably wouldn't be there. I would not be a UNLV fan. Let's continue to talk a little bit. So this is one of the original patches, and when we had this big hoopla about UNLV, and they were trying to take the mascots away and all this other stuff, I went out looking for the patches because that is just, you're not going to take this away from me. I went to UNLV, I love UNLV, and you're not going to take away the memory of UNLV. And so I went looking for anything to do with UNLV. I found this large patch, plus I found some of the smaller, just the musket guy, and I forgot his name. I have to ask Dirk what he actually named it was. But I found several of them. They were the last in existence to be sold. So there might be some out there someplace, but I know I've got the large one, plus I think I have 4 or 5 of the smaller patches, and it's just him. So it's just him with his gun. Okay, so very cool. I'm so excited about that. So let's talk a little bit more about the Rebels. How should we describe this? McKenna Brackens, Amarachi Kimpson, and Meadow Ronald were 3 nominees for this year's McDonald's All-Star, All-American Games. And just so happens they all play for UNLV. That's right, folks. We are so cool. So the 3 elites right here, the trio was nominated based upon athletic and scholastic achievement and behavior by their athletic directors, head coach, and or McDonald's All-American Game Selection Committee. So it's very cool. So what we'll do is we'll actually leave a list of these folks on our website at livininvegas.com. You can check it out. It's so exciting to see our girls do such a good job. And what else are you going to do? I mean, you just love on them and that kind of thing. In keeping with the theme of the show today, talk a little bit about Sam Boyd Stadium. Sam Boyd Stadium. Many of you know about Sam Boyd Stadium. That it is the home for the UNLV Running Rebels. Here, and I'm going to take a real quick break here. Hang on one second, folks. I've got to do something. Okay. All right. I'm back now. Excuse me. UNLV, the built in 1971, the Sam Boyd Stadium was the home for the UNLV Rebels. Since I knew it. I mean, before I went to high school, it was there, and so, but ever since the Rebels struck up a deal with the Raiders to use Allegiant Stadium, this stadium now has been living fallow. So, the question now is, what do you do with the stadium? Because it's not operational right now. And the interesting thing about it is just a couple of years ago, I went to a game out there and watched the Rebels play football, and it had just been renovated. I know they put in, I mean, millions of dollars they put into this thing to renovate the box seats and stuff like that. We were in the sky boxes, and if you get a chance to go to a sky box, go there. Just go there once. You don't have to hang out there. I personally would rather be down in the stadium, down in the stands with everybody else because it's a little more fun. Excuse me. But it ain't bad up there. I got to tell you, it ain't bad up there at all. Free food, drinks, the whole thing. You're warm. You get to hang out with the bougies and stuff like that. So I just really encourage you, if you get a chance to go hang out with all the folks up in the skybox, go there. And the UNLV skyboxes are just par excellent. I mean, they really are very, very nice. And now, unfortunately, they don't know what they're going to do at the stadium. I think I know what I would do with it. I mean, I would probably use it for the XFL. I would use it for the lacrosse that we've got out there now. And it's not as though it's so far out of town that you can't get to it. It's very accessible and always has been. I think it's great. This stadium has hosted Monster Jam, YouTube, or U2, and as well as Grateful Dead concerts. So it's not like this place is not small. It is. It holds what? I think 16,000, 20 something thousand. It's not a huge stadium. Not huge at all. It's what we call. It's comfy. So it's not like L.A. Something like that where you got 60, 100,000 people. You're not going to get that many people in there. But it is so cool. When I was going to UNLV, fun to go out there. It's just because your people are close to you. They're screaming, they're yelling, they're having a great time. Monster Jam is always cool out there. They fill it in with dirt because it's open on the end of it, and you just bring in all the dirt, do all that stuff. So hopefully they'll be able to do some stuff out there. Should be cool. So for some of you that are trying to go out to Lee Canyon, if you're trying to go out to Lee Canyon today, might as well turn around. Yeah, they're not going to let you up there. Highway 156 or Lee Canyon Road, we used to call it Lee Canyon Road, or State Route 156 is closed from mile marker 0 to Deer Creek Road. So you're not getting up there. Many of you know that a couple of days ago, there was an avalanche. Yeah, there was a party of people out there skiing, hiking, that kind of stuff. Avalanche. Carried the guy down the mountain like 500 feet, and just a tragic situation. So the crews are up there, and they are clearing the road, making sure that there's no avalanches that are going to continue to happen. And, you've just got to be safe. So be very, very careful going up to Lee Canyon. As a matter of fact, once again, you're probably not going to make it up there because of the just expected, they think other things could happen. Oh, let's do this. Let's take another break, folks, and we will be back in just a minute for more of the Livin in Vegas podcast with me, your host, Sherman Ray. We'll be back in just a second. Hi, everybody. It's Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast. Are you a business owner that's looking to get the word out about his product, service, or even just a great message out there? Well, we'd like to give you that opportunity by being a guest on Livin in Vegas podcast. It's super simple. All you've got to do is contact us at advertising@livininvegas.com. That's advertising@livininvegas.com, and we'll schedule you for an interview on Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. And we're back, folks. This is Sherman Ray. This is the Livin in Vegas podcast, where we come to you Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, talking to you about the people, places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. And we're on the backside of it now, folks. We're almost done with the show, and it's been a great day. It really has been. Hopefully you had a great week. I know I have. I've just had a fantastic week. I did have kind of a weird thing going on. I ate something early on. I think it was Wednesday or something like that. Got me in the throat. And that Thursday, which was yesterday, and I lead a band. So I'm a musician, and many of you know this. I used to make my living as a musician. and so I sounded like Aretha Franklin. Couldn't hit the high notes, and that's fine but something was going on in the throat, and this is how I make my living. So I speak with my dulcet tones, and so got to make sure that I take care of this whole thing. One more story before we go on the glide path. Many of you know about the Golden Gate. So the Golden Gate, for those of you who don't know, the oldest casino in Las Vegas. Okay, it started in Las Vegas, celebrating its 117th anniversary. Opened as the Hotel Nevada in 1906. Rooms only cost, guess how much in those days? That's right, $1. $1. Wow. Okay, now it's known as the Golden Gate, and it's considered a pioneer in the hospitality industry. In the old days, here, let's put that back up there again. Put it back up there. So in the old days, the Golden Gate only had 10 rooms. Can you believe that? 10 rooms. Now, if you have 10 rooms, it's called a hourly, if you know what I mean. So now they only originally had 10 rooms. Those rooms are still there. They're still there. Yeah, they sure are. Derek Stevens, who is the owner of the oldest casino in downtown, is also the owner of the newest casino downtown, the Circa. And if you've been to the Circa, folks, it is just awesome. We got a sneak preview of the Circa a couple of years ago, right before it opened. Excuse me, and so cool. We got to tour all the rooms and some of the new stuff that you probably won't see unless you really are kind of the high dollar folks. Especially if they have a foundation room type thing, and it was it has these busts. Okay, can I say that? Busts. It's hard to say. So what they are they're kind of embossed portraits of some of the oldest names, some of those iconic names that you can see, or you might have known about if you have been a part of Las Vegas for a long time. Gus Giuffre, G.L. Vito, names like that. And if you haven't been to Vegas for very long, those names probably mean absolutely nothing to you. But guys like me who've been around since the 60s, I knew all these guys. Oh yeah, all of these guys: Gus Giuffre, G.L. Vito, Ron Lurie, guys names like that, and many more. They actually have a wall that's in their kind of foundation room. It's top. It's like a big casino on the top, or it's not a casino, but it's an observation deck and that kind of thing on the top of the place. But as you come up the elevator and you get off the elevator, you see this wall, and I go, wait a minute, I know that guy. I've seen that guy's face. I remember him when I was a kid. Oh, I remember him being on TV. That kind of stuff. If you get a chance to go over to the downtown, two places you want to go to. One is the Golden Gate, okay, because it's oldie and it's celebrating its 117th anniversary. And then go down the street, okay, just go down the street to the Circa and see if they'll let you go upstairs. Okay, they may not let you go upstairs, but they may. And I don't remember what the name of the room is. Gosh, I wish I remember the name of the room. Very cool though. But that's what you want to see. You just want to see that wall, and you want to look out over the valley, and you can look north and south, which is cool, and you can see all the way down. Especially if you look south, you can see all the way down to the Strip. I took pictures up there when I was up there, and if you look at some of the stuff that we have on the show or on our website, you'll see some of the pictures that I actually took from that observation deck. When I looked down at their, what is it called? It's like a 3-story pool. I forgot the name of it now. Getting old. So, took pictures from up there, and pictures you won't get from any place else. You're just not going to get them. So I took some pictures while up there. So very cool. How much time do we have left? Oh, got about 5 minutes. So you might have heard this story. Out at Lake Mead, they actually found a Cessna sunk in the lake out there. Yeah, this story it's an older story, but October 1st, on the night of October 1st, Two pilots, Charles Wood, Chad Rogers, made an emergency crash landing in Lake Mead, and they said they saw sparks and coming out of the side of the engine, and the cockpit filled with smoke, and they ditched that thing out of Lake Mead. Well, it's been sitting there for a little while, and many of you know that it's been oh gosh, they tried to get it out of the lake, couldn't get it out, and so they called for help, and a group called Earth Resource Group, or ERG, went out there and they helped them out to get this thing up, and to take a look at the boat. Very cool. And I was going to try to get the video up so you could actually see it, but it's very cool. Can you imagine a Cessna, single engine Cessna, covered with all kinds of moss and all kinds of gooey stuff? It's very cool. But there's so much more out there that we're starting to see a little bit more. Hopefully the weather that we just had, that just occurred here in the valley, the rain and the snow and the sleet and the hail, oh my, that hopefully it will bring a little bit more water to the Lake Mead reservoir, because we need it. We continue to need more water out there. Before we leave, Derek Carr, not to be mistaken for Derek Stevens, the owner of the Circa, but Derek Carr, the former quarterback for the Raiders, bid the city a farewell. Yeah, I know, in a tweet and everything else, and it was just so sad. Derek Carr is a righteous guy. He's just a very nice guy, but this season just it was not panning out. It was just having an off season, and what the coach did is they benched him for like the last 2 games of the season, and they said, okay, Derek, you probably are not going to be the guy moving forward. Now, he's been a part of the Raiders for the last 9 seasons. By far, folks, and I'm going to say this again, by far the most prolific quarterback we've ever had in the silver and gray, whoever wore the silver and gray. Despite the losing record of 63 and 79, Carr ended his time in Vegas as by far the most accomplished quarterback in team history, holding passing yardage, completions, touchdowns, and game-winning drives. I mean, he's by far just beaten everybody. And we've had some great quarterbacks over the years. I mean, the Raiders have had some great quarterbacks over the years. And yet, Josh McDaniels said, hey, we're going to send you packing down the road. Which kind of sucks, because I've seen quarterbacks have terrible seasons and they still play. Matter of fact, if you all know of the former quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman started out his season, his career, 1 win, 13 losses. And I remember, because I remember when he came into the season, he came into the league. 1 win, 13 losses his first season. And then he went on to win 3 Super Bowls. It happens. Guys happen. So do I think that they let go of Derek Carr too early? Yes, I do. And I will fight for him tooth and nail, because, so I'll give it to you. The passing yards, 35,000, over 35,000 passing yards. Completions, 3,200, over 3,200 completions. Over 215 touchdowns. Game-winning drives, 33. Those are all-star stuff. I mean, that'll get you into the Hall of Fame, okay? So, and he's only 31 years old. Tom Brady is still playing. He's, 80? So, come on. He's got years to go. And he's in good shape. He's a young guy. He's got... I don't want to have to play against the guy. I just don't want to have to play against him, because he's still got a lot of mileage left on him. And I think we are going to regret this one. Okay. Anyways, folks, it's been so fun being a part of your morning. Thank you once again for being a part of the Livin in Vegas podcast. And we will see you again Monday, where we'll talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. It's been Rebel Red Friday on the Livin in Vegas podcast. We'll see you again for our regularly scheduled programming, where we'll talk about the people, places, trends, and events that shape the city of Las Vegas. Thank you once again, folks. Bye-bye.